Dum dum dum.
Greetings and salutations. It has been a minute, but This is the Vital Check Show.
Vital Check Show, yes.
And I hope you didn't forget about me, but I am Dr. Joe, your friendly neighborhood MD. And refreshingly by my side,
I'm back. Well, we're back.
We're back.
It's me, DJ Critical. Hey.
What's up, guys? It's been a while. We took a prolonged summer vacation.
Yes, we did. We had to get some things in
re-energize.
Order. Yeah.
Regroup.
New energy, new season, new us.
Yes. So we've been very busy the last 3 months. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month for those who
are Hispanic and who love Hispanics. Like me, I do. I love Hispanics.
Yeah. So what do we do this whole time? Let's catch up because outside of this podcast, I don't text DJ Critical. We do intermittently, but not like.
Well, I had my procedure.
Yes, that's right.
I had a little procedure to correct or modify the rasp and the hoarseness.
Yes. So you guys gotta let us know. Do you hear a difference in DJ Critical's voice?
Or nah. I think I sound a little different.
Okay, and how was vocal rest for you?
Vocal rest was very interesting. I made tabs and flashcards. I didn't speak for literally 2.5 weeks. I did not say a word. I didn't whisper.
Did you still go to work during this time?
No.
Oh, okay. So you were home.
Yeah, I was just home.
In silence.
Literally just eating mush and drinking water.
Okay.
And it was at first it was cool, and then getting the second week was I was forgetting that I was on vocal rest, and I was about to talk, and then I was like, oh snap, I can't talk.
Mm-hmm. So, how did it feel not to be able to talk for 2.5 weeks?
It was I like the pandemic and stuff like that. That time period was where nobody really, they knew I couldn't talk, so they didn't want to call me. They just text me and they just left me alone, and that was very refreshing. Okay,
so this is just a friendly reminder that you are an introvert and a hermit.
Yes. In my new stage of life, I am definitely hermit critical.
Oh boy. Well,
unless I'm DJing and I'm outside and I gotta work, and then it's an amazing time. Make sure you come and check me out. But besides that, I'm homebody critical.
And it's also cuffing season.
And yeah.
So you have to be homebody critical.
Not necessarily.
No.
I have coats. That's what we have coats for. I have several nice coats that I would like to wear and show off, and I'm going outside.
All right.
Weather ain't stopping me.
Okay. So we'll see. We'll catch up in the critically single part. But
yes,
as far as me, I've been traveling a lot.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, a lot of awards, a lot of ceremonies, and stuff like that.
Really? I don't remember.
I think so. Didn't you go to a conference that?
Oh, that's right.
So you don't even know your accolades.
So honestly, guys, it's hard to keep up. I gotta put it on my resume to remind myself my LinkedIn profile because
it's hard to keep up with all the
delete from my mind. Yes, I did go to a leadership conference out in Chicago.
Yep.
Last week I came back from Portland, which
I've never been to Chicago or Portland. I want to go to Chicago.
Well, actually, I was in the suburbs of Chicago, and it was a trip to go to Chicago. So I still have to go to Chicago, but it definitely reminded me of my purpose in my career.
Oh, nice.
But
so
Portland,
you still want to be a pediatrician, or you?
I mean, I still.
Oh, you got rejuvenated in the.
My why for sure.
Wow, we were just talking about that too.
Yeah. I said it in a meeting last week, I'm tired of being the first for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And going to that leadership conference and seeing not many folks that look like me, I was like, oh, it's a wrap.
That's what you have to
I was like, that's it. I'm making seats at mat tables,
That's what's up. That's what's up. You have a new purpose.
But of course, within 2 weeks that energy dissipated, and I'm just like, F everything. I'm tired. I'm quitting medicine.
I mean, did he have F you Friday? So it's
oh, we should institute that. Yeah. But yeah, so and then Portland was really dope. I don't think I've really gone to the Pacific Northwest outside of San Fran. I don't know if they consider themselves that, but it's a different vibe. Chill, the pulse is like slower. You know, I went to the coast, climbed some sand dunes.
That's where the Nike headquarters are.
Yes, I did some crazy damage at the Nike employee store.
I'm gonna go there.
I mean,
how did you get to the Nike employee store?
But that's the thing, right? Like, so
you just, connections.
Yeah, my friend got connections.
Oh wow.
And they're like, oh, you know, you might run into a basketball player or two here. I was like, oh.
LeBron was there?
No, nobody was there.
Oh.
I mean, other people were there, just not notable mention.
Right, gotcha.
But it was cool. Went to Nike campus. But it was a vibe. I could totally see myself kind of slowing down, but I don't think I could commit to that. I'm
slowing down, like moving to like that type of
environment. It's just like, you know, I mean, it's a little sad because you can feel the ramifications of COVID, like a lot of empty buildings, you know, a lot of shops closed, a lot of restaurants closed.
So it's great for real estate.
Yes, and I'm going to call Portland the city of dreams because when I spoke to my friend that lives out there, right, she tells me about all her friends and their endeavors and like, you know, you just got to convince one people to believe in your vision and that's it. There's your shop.
Dope.
So, you know, I saw so many different business ideas and fruition over there. So I came back, I'm like, you know what? I want to be a business entrepreneur.
Add it to the resume.
So really, like, I call this period for me, like, I'm giddy about dreaming, right? I think for me...
You're a dream chaser, like Meek Mill.
Yeah. Shout out to Meek.
Yeah.
I was just in Philly last night.
Well, it's Philly, Oregon, Chicago.
I'm on the move, and then I'm going to Vegas in November.
For what?
Bachelorette party.
Oh, I thought it was work.
Oh, no. This is for fun.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, yes. Vegas. It's going to be like The Hangover?
I hope not. Oh. I would be the DD probably. I don't like those type of situations.
Those type of environment. Okay.
Yes. But yeah, so dream chasing out here is what I'm doing.
There's chasers.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what he does.
Oh, okay. So, in these 3 months, what have you been up to with this love life or lack of love life? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's much more the lack of. So I feel like the one person that I was interested in, the producer chick.
Oh no.
We just
¿Qué pasó?
So we're gonna quickly talk about like ghosting. I don't think she ghosted me or I didn't ghost her. We had a lot on our plate at a particular time.
Okay.
And that we didn't like speak as much, and then that just kind of like grew, and then we just kind of like drifted, and then I would like reach out, and then it would like be days after, like before a reply, and I don't really. I don't do well with that. I don't know, because I'm like, okay, like I'm not a double texter first.
What does that mean?
A double text is like when you text somebody, they don't reply, and you text them again.
Or like a follow up.
Yeah, no. I'm not one of those. You see it. It said delivered. It's there.
Okay.
I'm not really one to like scrutinize the reply time. Like I'm not like, oh, like, you know, like you have to reply within.
But in a sense, you are, because then you say you're not a double texter, right? Because if you would double text, that means you're expecting.
No, but like after days, like reply. I'm not like a immediate like. You don't have to, because I'm busy.
Okay.
So I understand that, you know, you may not see things, or you may be doing things when the texts come in. Like, that's fine. Like, I don't need an immediate reply. But like after like 3-4 days, I feel like obviously you didn't want to text me, because if you had texted me, you would have seen the text that I sent you 3-4 days ago.
Okay.
So I'm not really a double text, but I did, against my morals of texting.
Your principles.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I double texted and stuff, and then we never really spoke about
the silence.
The silence, yeah. We just kind of like went as usual. But then like afterwards, I just didn't.
It felt different.
Yeah, it definitely felt different. And then like obviously Instagram is everything, and you just see she's talking about entertaining and being with other people. So I just like, all right, I can.
So that was your.
I take the hint. Yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I reached out to hang out, and then that just fell on deaf ears. Like she didn't like really adhere to any of my date advances. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, it just
adhere. That's an interesting choice of words.
Did it work?
No.
Like, it doesn't fit there?
No.
What does adhere?
Well, adhere is like, let's say like to stick to. So like adhere to your like policies or to your rules or something like that.
Okay.
But maybe she didn't respond.
Yeah, whatever. She didn't. She wasn't with it. Basically, that's what it seemed like.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, so it's not really much ghosting. I feel like we just drifted.
Okay.
And
do you feel like you had
fine.
appropriate closure for this? Do you need closure?
I don't feel I need closure because I don't think we were that
invested.
Yeah, that deep. We were really just like getting to know each other, spending time with each other, like and stuff like that. I think we probably went on like 3 or 4 dates.
She was cute. She was cool.
Oh man, she seemed cool.
Yeah. All right. I mean, and I think, and something we're going to delve in the upcoming segment, communication, right? Managing expectations. Because, I have, in my alter ego, I have 4 tattoos on my neck. One of them is reading is fundamental.
Why on your neck?
Because I think people need to know these things,
but
right?
Why would they, like on the front of your neck?
No, right here on the side. Right here.
But why would
maybe in the front. I don't know where the placement.
Like if it was like on your forehead,
on
then like people will need to know. But like if it's on your neck, like especially if you have like your hair down, like it's not really.
So then I wear my hair up. I don't know.
Why put it in like your forearm or something?
But then people are not gonna read my forearm all the time. Anyways, the point is these are some important messages that I think
need to know. Okay.
1, the first tattoo is reading is fundamental.
That's okay. That's a long. Okay, reading is fundamental.
So maybe that'll be all across my neck. Number 2, manage your expectations, where we're gonna touch on a little later.
Okay.
And number 3, communication is key, right? Like if you don't tell me what's going on, like my dad likes to say, I'm not a mind reader.
Some people would like you to be mind readers,
and I feel like that's what I do to my husband all the time.
Yeah, that's very weird. Like they look at you and like, you can't read my mind.
Like you can read my body language.
Yeah, but it's okay for you to tell me something that you want me to do, or
I agree.
Express.
I agree.
An expectation, or
yes.
So that because I'm always like, because I've told females, this, it was like if you don't tell me and I do something and you get mad at it, and I continue to do that thing,
and you continue to be mad,
then why don't you just let me know so I
agree.
can not do that thing that upsets you? Like it's a very I try to be a very logical person, and unfortunately like logic is just not something that is used a lot by people, not a specific sex, but just people in general. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I mean, I guess we'll just transition into the topic that has been buzzing.
Dum, dum, dum.
Social media. I mean, it depends on which world you live in. There's the Adam Levine story where he is cheating on his pregnant wife or whatever. I mean, whatever that story is. But the one we're going to focus on is Nia Long and Ime Udoka.
Hey, Nia.
As we know, Nia Long is Black royalty.
Hell yeah.
And her boo of many years, they were engaged since 2015 and they share a 10-year-old son, had an inappropriate relationship with a female team employee.
Sheesh.
And as a result, Twitter and Instagram
was in a frenzy.
Hashtag Team Nia Long.
But one of the things I was spoken about, like, how does Nia Long get cheated on?
Yes, that was
no one is above. Like Beyonce got it cheated on, allegedly.
Right.
Like people, like if Beyonce could get cheated on, I feel like unfortunately everyone can get cheated on. But cheating is not good. Don't do it.
I mean, they also said, like, this one Twitter guy said, just because she looks good doesn't mean she has good character.
That is true.
And we'll talk about, like, dynamics of relationships and stuff. But, and I think that's what people say, right? Like, people rap about Nia Long. Like, right? Like, she is one of the most beautiful icons of our generation.
Indeed.
So
from like the Fresh Prince and all that.
Yes. And then she was in Kanye's video, which people keep memeing.
With Tracy Ellis.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I think a lot of the immediate response has been hyper focusing on looks. But we'll delve a little more about infidelity and things like that. But as a result of this news being released, the Celtics have suspended Coach Ime as a matter of consciousness. And then, they say that they have strong values. And honestly, like, a lot of workplaces have policies against this. But
I'm hearing through the grapevine that there's other things that happened that the details didn't come out yet. So, because people were talking about like the severity of like his punishment, I guess, like being suspended for like the whole season.
And people thought it was a little egregious.
Yeah, so in the back channels, they're saying that
there's more.
That would make reason to the type of,
the degree of the punishment.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're waiting on that.
So
TBA.
I think there's 4 big things there's multiple things that need to be addressed, but 4 major concepts that I want us to delve into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So one is the concept of infidelity, right?
I hate it.
This act of being unfaithful to a committed partner, right? Not necessarily you have to be married to this person, but someone that you have established or said, I'm going to commit to this person.
Right. That's why I don't do it.
And I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm really against like infidelity. So I feel like if we don't commit, then there's never really infidelity.
And then that's another conversation. What is commitment? But right, just in prepping for this talk, right? There's 78.3 million results on Google just on infidelity, right? Like, this is not a new concept, right? It's a tale as old as times. There's even mad TED Talks about it, right? Like, it's obviously an issue that's worldwide.
Yes.
But essentially, right, what is infidelity, right? It undermines this foundation of a relationship. And, you mentioned earlier, like even Beyonce, right? Allegedly, right? But it can happen in the happiest of relationships and the most troubled of relationships. Correct. So nobody is shielded from it. Yep. You can seemingly have everything in this world, and still the person you trust the most can still abuse that trust. So again, I had to do some research on this, and there was this psychologist that I found who apparently is a leading expert in infidelity counseling.
Okay.
And they said that
leading in infidelity.
I mean, hey, maybe as a result of all their infidelities.
Counseling, got you.
But anyway, so this psychologist said that we all have relationships that should have a contract, whether verbal or written, that stipulates the number of partners in the relationship, the emotional and sexual needs that are expected to be fulfilled in this relationship, and to what extent those needs are exclusive to the partners in the relationship. And that is very crucial for people not only to have that clear contract in the beginning, but to continue to have those discussions about their relationship expectations and on a regular basis, right? So in simple statement, 2 of my tattoos are addressed, right? Managing expectations and clear communications. So have you ever had a contract?
No.
Or sometimes seemingly a contract?
Seemingly, yes. At one point, Diddy had something called the love contract.
Oh, interesting.
That a lot of people was on him about because
I gotta look that up.
They felt that that's just his way of circumnavigating being like, totally committed or with one person if you have the agreement in a love contract of sort. But I've had like situationships that I call it, and like flings, but not necessarily a contract where it was like stated the expectations or like the guidelines of how we're going to engage in our interactions per se. It was like more so of like we was together for a long period of time, and things were just like assumed. And we just like act accordingly as to what we felt that timeline required. And
assumptions make a what?
Makes an ASS out of you.
You and me.
And I hate them. But obviously none of those went well because I'm still single. But at a point in time, it was just like it was just we get to that stage, and then the boyfriend girlfriend, I guess, question comes up, and then we move from there. I'm just always at the tip, like right there when it comes to that girlfriend thing, and I just never jump over the
But
line.
is it a you problem or a us problem or her problem?
I think being that I am the common denominator, I am going to take
It's a you problem.
ownership and accountability and responsibility that it may be a me problem. That I just, it's like I just see these what I call like these
Red
indications,
flags?
like red flags that just never makes me like fully dive in. Like I just like put
You get
put
cold
my
feet.
toe- yeah, put my toe in, comes maybe up to my knee, and then I just never like really just go in the deep end.
So do you think it's your communication style?
I think at a point in time I was just like choosing people that didn't mesh well with me.
With your values?
Yeah.
Because to me, like, and I think I'm a little too naive in my thinking of infidelity, and I keep telling
It's a choice.
the hubster, it is a choice, but sometimes it's also the circumstances. You don't think so?
I think everything you do is some things which I feel like I've been told I should be a little bit more gray on. I'm pretty black and white.
And infidelity is one of those things.
Yeah, it's because it's like I'm under the understanding, like, before you get to, like, say for instance it's like a physical thing, there's things that happen before that takes place where
Right.
it could have been stopped, or you could
Like a
have,
build up.
right, like first it's like the texting, then it's like
The basics.
yeah, the meeting up, and then it's like the hugging and the kissing, and then
But did it start, right, to you, is infidelity just sexual or is it emotional?
Well, it can be emotional too, but that's where you said like the communication things come. If you're feeling a void, or you're not being seen, or there's something that you feel that you want to go out and get from someone else that's not your partner, that's where I feel like you should be able to relay that message to your partner.
Right. And I was looking it up. Oh, I don't have internets, but
Use your
yeah. So apparently there's different types of infidelity, and that's one of them, right? Like you seek
Yeah,
what you
people-
think is missing in your relationship in somebody else.
Yeah, people say that the emotional infidelity is worse than the physical,
And I think that depends on the person.
because with me, I've been physical with people that I probably wasn't the most emotionally engaged with, and it just sometimes it just becomes an act where you're really not there. Whereas like I feel like if you're emotionally invested in the act, I feel like that is slightly more like a different degree of the infidelity scale.
You know, I can't multitask.
You're like,
Yeah, like what you said. Sorry.
Yeah, emotional and physical. But then there's sometimes people don't end up getting the physical part, and then they're just like really just emotional. Like there's like, even when I was working in like the gentleman clubs, there's like people that's like, you know, married for so much years or whatever, and they go there just really like to talk. Like they really just talk to these dancers. Like they're not engaging, they're not touching them, they're not wanting services and stuff. They like really like sit there and just talk.
So I mean, shout out to our female dancers who are also talk therapists.
I love them. Yeah, they're so multi-talented.
But it's right. So where is it that relationships have gone wrong? Like, why is it that talking to your partner, to your committed partner, you know, that this is what's going on with me?
To me, is the reason why sometimes I have trouble in my communication is fear. Yeah, I think it has to do with fear of you telling that person how you feel and how they're gonna react, how they're gonna take it, what's to come after that conversation. Like you don't know if they may leave, if they're gonna like treat you different, if they're gonna act different. So to keep things on a level
Peace.
Yeah, they just don't.
But it's not peaceful, right? Because you have
You build
different
up turmoil
body
and stuff.
language, right? Like
Right.
if your partner comes into the home and you're already you're clenching your jaw, your blood pressure going up.
They put on a mask of, you know, like some people, you know, they take 10 minutes or so before they enter their house to like to like just collect and, you know, get their game face on basically. And they go on, oh, hey, honey, how's it go? Work was great, and blah, blah, blah. And they get into the routine, the motion. They kiss the kids, blah, 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 blah. And then they go to bed, and they stare at the ceiling like, oh, I don't want this. Or
yeah. You know. But I think right before you even get to that point, there's so many other checkpoints that were missed. And I think one of the biggest issues with infidelity is that it's you're not checking at those checkpoints. And sometimes we don't build those structures in our relationships to have those checkpoints.
Correct.
So, you know, it's unfortunate that sometimes infidelity is a result of that. But I think it's like every relationship, it's a conscious effort.
Yeah, even
right? You
like,
have
like
to,
we spoke about like friendships and stuff like
yes.
that. Family. Like
you have to be very intentional with these things. And, you know, our amorous relationships are not an exception to that. So the second big, I think, umbrella or theme to discuss out of this, you know, what happened to Nia Long and Ime's relationship is that romantic relationships in the workplace, right? Which to everyone is like, the knee-jerk response is like, no, don't do it. But there's something that, you know, about the physical proximity, the emotional proximity, and intellectual proximity of being in the same workspace as a person that sometimes it's easy to get caught up in that.
Very easy. It's like basically like school. School and work is very, if you're with a person or a group of people for a certain amount of time every day. Is like your
most of your day,
yeah,
right?
Most of your life is like, you know, like
you're either at home or
work, you're at school. So it's like you really build a bond. You get to know people differently than if you were just supposed to like sporadically meet up with them, like say a dating,
right?
So it's like it's like a hub
of shared experiences,
right?
Yeah.
So dating at the workplace is, like you said, it's easy. It's like very easy.
And they also said, like, they called it the mere exposure effect, right? The fact that you're just seeing someone often, like, and you're just there all the time, it's bound to happen. And apparently, like, I didn't know it was this common, but there was some study that happened earlier this year that they said that actually since the pandemic, workplace romance has actually increased as people have been at home because as a result of the pandemic. So they're saying a third of the people surveyed said they began or sustained a relationship with a colleague during the pandemic.
Because I feel like in the pandemic where you quote unquote wasn't able to like see people, like meet with them, the communication factor like kind of increased because you had to like talk, like you're not physically with the person to like engage with them, so like it was really a lot of talking and getting to know each other through that experience, where probably just like that's what, you know, accelerated the amount of, you know,
workplace romance.
And
then actually one of the best love stories that we have in the US is a result of a workplace romance, right?
Yep.
The Obamas.
Yep, the Obamas.
Right, so they met at this Chicago law firm in their 20s. So, you know, I was talking to my friend
and hit it off
about this, right? We don't talk about the good stuff that happens as a result of the workplace romance, right? We talk about the bad stuff.
I feel like part of it is then the dynamic of like, are y'all on the level, like is it a supervisor
and that's where it gets sticky,
or is it
like a subordinate?
Right. So even in my days of working, and I was like a manager or some type of supervisor, I really had to tiptoe on interacting, engaging with my employees and my subordinates, because I didn't want to
risk your job.
Well, yeah, that, but I didn't want to make because I didn't want to feel like there was like favoritism, like,
right.
I didn't want to feel like this person was getting special treatment or something because me and her have, other outside endeavors,
right,
and things like that. So I tried to withhold and withstand, but then they just those employees, man.
It's that mere exposure effect, right?
Yeah.
But then also the thing is, when it goes bad, right? Then there's
that's where it's tricky.
That awkward dance, that hostile environment.
Yeah, because then you don't know if they're gonna one day just get upset and just out you and just tell everybody.
Exactly. Sexual harassment claims, right? Like there's a lot of. To me, it's tough.
It's stressful.
Yes. So I mean, listen, as everything, weigh your pros and cons.
Gossip and there's people seeing and you try to avoid them, but then they start making googly eyes at you, and then people catch them
Yeah, exactly. It's
messy.
It's just awkward for all parties involved.
I don't no. Sometimes they feed off of that stuff, because I guess
you don't think the people outside of the relationship find it weird, right? Like if you're in a team and two people
they can yeah.
It's like, oh, don't stop touching them, right? Like that to me is just, I don't know. But
then the other person, to my experience, they just want what they want, and they're just like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, I have to. You don't have to worry about it because you're at your level. I have to worry about it because there's more at stake.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry. And speaking about more at stake, so the internet is ruthless.
Yes, I love it.
They are, especially. I mean, I think every social platform has their own level of ruthlessness.
Yeah.
Twitter doxes the hell out of people. So as a result, and this was one of the sad ramifications of this affair, is that the women in the Boston organization have been doxxed, right? The Becky with the good hair effect is what I call it. And it's sad, one of the women that works there said, seeing uninvolved people's names thrown around in the media, including mine, with such carelessness is disgusting. This is a step backwards for women in sports who have worked hard to prove themselves in an industry they deserve to be in.
Correct. I agree.
So it's unfortunate, right, that
they get the backlash to
yes, and usually that happens, right? When in an affair, the women get a strong backlash, right? Like, oh, she should have known he was with someone.
Okay, yeah, I see where that. Because I was thinking about Chloe and Tristan and stuff, and people were on Tristan a lot, but then the same token, they were on her for
ripping. How could you have another child with this man, right? And this was before the scandal was to our knowledge, but
I feel like when women cheat, for some reason it's not taken so everybody is not up in arms as much as when men cheat.
When men do it.
I feel like because, I don't know if because men just
are dogs.
That's the norm for them, or it's assumed that at some point they're gonna cheat, and then with women it's just oh, if she cheated it was a reason, he must have been violent, or he did something, or he must have cheated first and we didn't find out, things of that nature. But I don't really hear much of women cheat. I mean, it's always said that women cheat better. So
better.
Yeah, they're more.
They're not caught.
Yeah, they're more sly, conniving.
Oh my!
Strategic.
Look at all these assumptions.
Not mine. This is
not your opinion.
Yeah,
just the general.
Just the general. Yeah.
Okay.
That they're just smarter with their cheating, where men are just messier. They'll leave the text message there. They'll do something that just leaves them open to getting caught. Interesting.
They're sloppier.
Yeah. Allegedly.
I mean, I think honestly, everyone should be equally responsible, whether you're the participating person or the aggressor or whatever.
Well, you mean in the commitment? Because I feel like as an outsider, if you're in a relationship and you leave your relationship and
you witness that,
and you're with the person that may or may not know that you're in a relationship.
Wait, you lost me.
Okay, so you have two people.
Okay.
Commitment there.
Yes.
Blossoming. then one steps out of this commitment and cheats.
Okay.
The person that they cheat with is not at fault.
What? And no, I disagree.
Why?
I think there should be equal responsibility.
So I just figuratively speaking, I should care about the holy sanctified relationship that you have going on.
I mean, listen, it could be also misinformation, right? The person who stepped out on the relationship could be telling this other person, "Oh, we're separated, we're not together, we're in a, we're getting divorced," and so that other person could say, "Oh, this is permission, like this is okay because this relationship is at a rise."
But you feel like if they know that they're still at home faking they're monogamous and stuff like that the cheatee shouldn't participate in that situation.
Wait.
Okay.
One more time.
The person outside that's
the mistress or Mr.
Mr. Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't be, because a lot of times what happens is the other person that's being cheated on finds out and then they want to go run after and harm the person that they're cheated on. Don't harm anyone, but take up that situation with the person that you're in a relationship with, not the other person.
But I think, yes, I agree, it's deflected anger and we'll talk about, that's the last umbrella I want to talk about, right? This healing process. But I agree. Yes, maybe it is misdirected energy.
Right.
But
I agree too. So
it's easy to target the person that you don't love.
Don't come after me.
But then also it's the perception.
You see me with your girlfriend. That's not my fault.
But I mean, it's also the perception, right? Like, you know better. And sometimes they do know better.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. I may or may not know better. But I feel like she should uphold the standards of her relationship, and I shouldn't be at fault.
I mean, I think everyone is responsible, and that's it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And that's period.
All right, that's that on that.
That on that. So the last thing I want to talk about is reconciliation, right? Me and my husband were talking about this, right? What if Nia Long wanted to reconcile and work things out with her boo?
You know, sometimes cheating is not what we call a deal breaker. Like, sometimes people get over it, or they understand, or they just rather have their family structure and just work through that hurdle and move on.
Yeah, and also it's a healing process.
Right.
You have to rebuild that trust. You have to admit that guilt, learn how to forgive and reconcile with those struggles. And obviously it's not an easy process.
Yeah, I'm more of I'm a forgiver, but I'm not a forgetter. There's
forgive and don't forget.
Yeah, there's people who've wronged me that I forgive, and then.
But is it really forgiving? Because I think we abuse that saying. Okay, we forgive and don't forget, but yet, you keep remembering, and it keeps giving you this visceral negative reaction.
Yeah, well, with that visceral negative reaction, you just know you just don't feel to trust them as much as you did previously. So you're just a little bit more guarded. You won't give as much, and I don't think that has something to do with forgiving. That's just you being smart. But
then I think that's counterintuitive, right? You won't give as much. Right, I think working through
because the last time I gave, you showed me that you didn't honor, or you didn't respect what I was giving. So the next time around, you just innately your brain is telling hey, it's like you touching a flame. Hey, you got burnt the first time, so not to
So it's even worthwhile
put your hand there again.
Yeah. So I mean, it goes back to the broken plate analogy that my brother has taught me, right?
Exactly. You could glue it back together. It's not going to be the same plate.
But I mean, sometimes with reconciliation, it can actually deepen and strengthen the love and affection that you desired at that point. And because of this infidelity, you have to just re-establish and reconnect.
I feel like you just let them cheat too. So then both of y'all could just be.
But then that goes back to your contract, right? So maybe that should be something that you guys discuss. Like, hey, if my needs are not met, these are the other ways. I mean, again, and every relationship is very different.
Correct.
We have very cis heteronormative norms.
I don't know, you just said a really big word. With a lot
multiple words.
A lot of syllables and a lot of letters.
But like a lot of our norms are kind of established for a very like hetero means, you know, girl and boy relationships, right? There's polyamorous relationships. Correct. There's homosexual relationships, right? Like not everything is man and girl,
right? Correct.
Or woman. So sometimes it's hard to unsee things from that lens because that's the majority in this country. But again, every relationship is very different, and the result, and
I feel like we should, being that every relationship is different, we should tackle them as such and not try to have a broad and widespread of like, this is what it should be, what it has to be, and just, you know, take it as is. Because I've been with some people that they like say like they don't mind me going out with like friends or whatever, you know, a lot, and then others they would rather come along, and then others they just rather me stay in the house with them. Yeah. So like each individual has, like you said, their different needs and stuff. So we need to take time
communicate that. Yeah.
To, you know, figure that out, and you know. But
then also like we have polarized the responses so much that what if Nia Long wanted to work it out, right? Like this is her love, she has a child with this man, and this is something that she's willing to work through. Then we kind of ostracize her and say, oh, she's weak, right? You know, she's gonna go back to him even though he hurt her. Like, you are Nia Long, you know? Like,
yeah, she can get almost any man she wants.
Any man. They're already probably flooding her DMs.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? So why do we view that, right? As a sign of weakness. But again, I think it's a strength, right? To be able to overcome that trauma, to heal from that, and build, you know, seemingly like a new relationship as a result.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times people don't they don't go back because of the embarrassment. Yes. Embarrassment is really a big part of it, where they don't want to, like you said, seem like, you know, weak or they weren't able to, like, what did they do or didn't do to make this person step out on them. So yeah, it's tough.
I mean, it's a lot to unpack, and again,
just don't cheat. Like I
agree.
It's a very simple concept.
It's a simple concept, but I think the harder concept is communication, right? It's something that all of us can work towards. I know for myself, I am terrible at speaking up. And I'm fortunate that I have.
Aren't y'all celebrating like an anniversary this year?
Yeah, man, we celebrated 6 years of marriage.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing is, like, damn, this guy is so freaking thoughtful. But right, like, so we've established goals for our relationship last week. And we could talk about this in a whole different episode. But 5 pillars, and I forgot. And I don't have internet to search, or at least I don't really want to search it right now. But we've established goals, daily goals for ourselves as individuals and as couples that we would like to accomplish. Goals. Yeah.
Oh wow, it's very specific.
Yeah, I mean it's not like different daily goals. It's just,
it's the same goal every day.
Exactly.
Okay, got you, guys. All right, cool.
So I mean, definitely, am I the best communicator in a relationship? No. Do I drift and like imagine all these Hallmark movies and what my relationship look like? Of course. But I think one thing that, you know, my husband has taught me is communication.
I think he learned that from me.
Oh yeah?
I taught him a lot of good values.
Oh, I'm glad that he has you as a great friend.
Yeah, 20 plus years, yeah.
But certainly, yeah, it's intention, right? Like, he's very intentional with our relationship.
Yeah, I think that's what he probably rubbed off on me.
Yeah, so he's, you know, obviously, and I always think, and again, another topic, but There's always a person who does more in the relationship, and I think that's where people get tired. But he's the guy that's always reinventing us, always setting our goals, always, Joe, what do you think about doing this for us?
Us. Keyword.
He's always the us guy, and I love him for that.
Oh, I want that love.
Yeah, but it takes work, and that's what I'm trying to convey, right? Like it takes work. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our strengths,
right?
And it's a matter of how to deal with those, the hand you're dealt, and how to do best with that.
That is true.
So with that, good people, our act of kindness is back to school.
It's back to school time. Hell yeah.
Is Hispanic Heritage Month. It's fall cuffing season. So what are we gonna do?
I unknowingly helped somebody with some homework the other day, and I felt good about it.
That's nice.
So I feel like we should do that.
Yes, I agree. My little cousins immigrated, and they're having a tough time with English because English is one of the hardest languages to learn.
Really?
Let's be clear.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't know. Like, it's even like the same string of letters sounds different in so many different situations.
Yes. Beer.
Yeah.
There.
It's just it's a hard language, and I think we don't give enough credit to people.
Lasagna that doesn't have like a Z in it.
It's just. It's hard.
Yeah. Okay.
So, they're getting English tutoring from a volunteer.
Oh, that's dope.
There's your local libraries that also help you learn.
I haven't been to a library in ages.
I love books and I love libraries.
I mean, it's like Amazon and it's like Kindle.
Yeah.
Libraries were fun.
They are fun.
I'm gonna go.
They still are. They have great programming for people.
I'm gonna walk around in there one day.
But yeah, I agree. Totally. I mean, this is going to be a tough school year for a lot of kids. Mm-hmm. So if you identify a child who's struggling, or just, they don't have to struggle. Or
even not a child, just
anyone.
Anyone, because I have like adults that's like, in like programs and stuff like that they need just an extra push, just like some words of encouragement if that's all you can offer and you really can't like solve a problem or whatever. Like I feel like that it goes a long way because it is tough.
It is. All right, so with that, kind people,
we're back.
Welcome back.
Bow.
And I don't know. I remember if I said this in the beginning of the podcast, but
I don't have a hat on this episode.
Oh my goodness!
I feel naked.
But the waves are, they're splashing.
You know what? Nowadays in my later years, like I'm not really as
polished.
No, I'm still polished. I'm not as focused on my waves as much. Like I don't brush it like 200 times. Like
what about the do-rag?
I don't wear my do-rag a lot.
The olive oil spray, the lotion.
No, I still do the the moisturizing, the olive oil, the sheen and things like that. But I don't wear my do-rag as much. So I'm just like I'm a free balling it, free heading it.
All right, so here we go. Shout out to some natural waves.
All natural waves.
But as we wrap up this episode, I want to give a shout out to Critical here for being the constant motivator and consistency that we need for this podcast, because
what a surprise.
I'm flaky. It's just my attention span waxes and wanes, mostly wanes.
Like
but
equally, I feel like we both, hold each other accountable. I feel like because even with my consistency, you're obviously consistent with a lot of the content. So like we put this one together in a matter of like minutes. And it was just like a upload of just information. I was like, wow, look at her go. So
but we're happy to be back. It's nostalgic, this microphone. Mind you's only been 3 months.
Right. But then it's just so much things happen in 3 months, and like, all right,
how are we gonna unpack this?
And then look, we just kick back into gear.
All right, stay tuned for the next episode. Pero hasta luego. Until next time. What she said. Pero. I don't know why I said pero, but.
but yeah.
See
ya.
Bye.
Later.